we gathered here today to light it up, yeah.
We light it up, yeah.
Blaze on the trail every day, we light it up, yeah.
We light it up, yeah.
Yeah, we gathered here today to
Say that? As a full-time smoker? It's like a job. So my name is Britta, and I'm 28 years old, and I've been smoking since I was 16.
My name's Tyler, and I'm 22. Been smoking for about 9 years.
Hi, my name is Carly, and I'm 28 years old. I started smoking officially in high school in grade 9, but I actually started smoking full-time more when I was around 22.
My name is Nick. I'm 22 years old. I started smoking when I was 18.
My first cigarette was outside the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, California when I was 13.
I had my first cigarette with my boyfriend at the time, and I did it because he was really cool, and I wanted to be just like him.
My first cigarette wasn't actually a cigarette. It was a cigar. That's what started me. My dad just got back from the Dominican, and because I was graduating, he brought back a big box of cigars.
My very first cigarette was in grade 5, and I stole it from my dad, and I went and smoked with one of my girlfriends and choked and coughed and didn't even inhale it.
When I was younger, it was always about the rebellion, and then, so whenever you could do something that you weren't supposed to be doing, it felt cool.
I like to play hockey a lot, and I couldn't keep up with the rest of the guys anymore, you know, like they'd be out skating me, out shooting me and stuff like that, and I'd have to stop in the middle of a game to have a smoke. Like it was kind of ridiculous.
One of the main health issues is emphysema and lung disease and that sort of a thing. For me, I'm finding it just makes you smell bad and makes your teeth yellow, and that's not necessarily health, it's more vanity, but it's still gross at the same time.
I know you get wrinkles from smoking. I don't want wrinkles, which is probably why once in a while I try not to smoke, right? I usually quit when I'm dating someone who's a non-smoker, because just out of courtesy, there's no point in putting them through something that they choose not to do. So
If I go down that road again, it's just going to be harder to quit every time. And I've seen my dad do that 5 or 6 times, where he smokes for a year and then he stops, then he smokes, then he stops, then he smokes and he stops, and it's just seeing him do that, it's just torture.
I don't think it's very difficult to quit, because I quit quite often. I know that sounds like a contradiction because I start again, and people say that's the addiction part.
I would probably consider quitting if I noticed any adverse effects to my health, aside from just a cough. But I haven't yet.
Both of my grandparents passed away from smoking. My grandmother from emphysema and my grandfather from emphysema and cancer. It's definitely something that has encouraged me to quit from time to time, seeing my dad struggle through breathing and my grandmother struggle through breathing because they used to smoke so much. Unfortunately, I'm still at an age where I feel I'm a little bit more invincible than they are.
I don't think I have cancer. And, I don't really buy into the hype that it's actually that bad for you.
Basically, I was asked to participate in a study, and it was about the little messages that they put on the packs of cigarettes and the effects of them. It was a group of 20 people. They asked us what we thought about certain pictures. What would you rather see? A devastated lung, or would you rather see a guy who, quit smoking for 5 years? He's really healthy, he's hiking, he's, really enjoying life. I would rather see somebody who's succeeding.
For me, I don't think it would be a campaign that would be effective to get me to quit smoking. I think the fact that when I play a lot of shows and I'm on stage, 3 or 4 nights a week, I find that affects me more and kind of kicks me in the butt because I can't breathe as well.
I think kind of the reason why people think smoking is so bad for you is because they're told every day that smoking's bad for you. You can't go down the street without seeing something about cancer, and so these people, when they're smoking, are always thinking that they're going to get cancer from them. And if you're thinking every time you have a cigarette that it's going to give you cancer, then eventually it's going to.
I would never recommend smoking to anyone, because once you start, it's like a thing you do, right? Like you're addicted. So I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I wouldn't go out of my way to say, hey, what's a good idea? You should start smoking.
I probably wouldn't recommend smoking to anyone. It's generally not a good idea to do things that can be bad for you, but I don't really care what they do.
I would never recommend smoking to anybody. And the only reason is because when I did quit, it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
It's expensive, it smells bad, it makes your teeth gross, and it brings a lot of health issues. I don't think anybody should start smoking. If you've never started, don't start. There's no point.
Well, I say honestly, I say, now baby, you can't let me lay myself down again.